is the I Have a First podcast. So this is where I have a drink, I review it, and I chop it up with you guys. Feel free to leave a comment down below for a recommendation of a drink you'd like me to try. I've got another thought-provoking episode for you. So today, I've got organic strawberry lemonade. Here we are. There's the bad boy. Got a cup here. I have it in my cup. Smells nice. Smells fragrant. There we go. Pouring it out. So I hope you've got a drink. If you haven't, pause the video now. Welcome back. Cheers. So I recently watched the Blackberry movie. And what is this movie about? So this movie is about the Blackberry smartphone. And I'm someone who is well versed in tech history, specifically 2007. So 2007 is really significant in tech history because that is the year Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone to the world, and that was a game changer. But I'll come to why that is important in a second. So I was already invested in the Blackberry movie because once upon a time I had a Blackberry. Caveat being I had a Blackberry towards the end of its popularity, but nevertheless I had a Blackberry. And I think one of the reasons I was eager to see this movie is because I had a Blackberry, and this movie introduced me to sort of the history of Blackberry. When you watch a movie, I highly encourage you to watch a movie. When you watch a movie, you'll see Blackberry almost didn't exist. So it is a real underdog story. And at one point, Blackberry was the dominant phone in the marketplace. So what is interesting is when you see the Steve Jobs iPhone announcement from the perspective of the Blackberry team. So in the movie you see Steve Jobs on stage introducing the new iPhone. Before he gets there, he shows Steve Jobs shows the audience the current phones at the time. He's like, oh, they've all got these clunky things, these keyboards. Then Steve Jobs introduces the iPhone to the world, and this video is available on YouTube. So if you haven't seen the Steve Jobs keynote on him introducing the iPhone to the world, go back and watch that. But so then Steve Jobs shows everyone the iPhone for the first time, and that's a real exciting moment when you go back and watch that. But from BlackBerry's perspective, they were confused. They couldn't understand why someone wouldn't want to have buttons on their phone. However, there was an executive at BlackBerry, Jim Balsillie, and he's the one who realized it wasn't about not having a keyboard. When Apple came out with the iPhone, they revolutionized phones and phone companies, and I'll tell you why. There's a moment in the movie where Jim Balsillie, he's calling all the sort of major network providers in America. He's AT&T, you name it, you name a company, he called them. And he was like, look guys, okay, I know Apple has come up with the iPhone, but at BlackBerry, we'll give you like unlimited minutes. Then one executive turned to Jim and said, Jim, you can give me all the minutes you want. The only issue with minutes is that there's only 1 minute in a minute. Then what does that mean? Like when I saw that in the movie, I was like, what's he talking about? Then it took Jim a couple minutes to realize it's not about minutes. iPhones were sort of like the first major phone brand to incorporate apps. In order to use an app, let's say you're out and about and all to use an app. What do you need? You need data. And that is what phone companies now include in their packages. Like, go to any sort of phone company, 3, Vodafone, name company. Yes, they talk about minutes, but they mainly promote the data. Steve Jobs created a whole new sector of the phone industry, and no one's talking about that. So that was a crazy moment in the movie. Because back in the day, people used to care about their minutes, but it's mostly about the data. So that was an interesting moment, and I feel, yes, people talk about iPhones and that moment in 2007, but no one really talks about that moment of the transition from minutes to data. And when Steve Jobs said, "This is the iPhone," that marked a significant change, and that moment has changed phones. That moment has changed the phone industry forever. So yeah. So if you haven't seen Blackberry, I highly suggest you go and watch that. That is, whew, that is one good movie right there. What is the I Have a First podcast? So this is where I have a drink, I review it, and I chop it up with you guys. Feel free to leave a comment down below for a recommendation of a drink you'd like me to try. I've got another thought-provoking episode for you. So today, I've got organic strawberry lemonade. Here we are. There's the bad boy. Got a cup here. I have it in my cup. Smells nice. Smells fragrant. There we go. Pouring it out. So I hope you've got a drink. If you haven't, pause the video now. Welcome back. Cheers.